Hello, benvenuti ragazzi a un nuovo episodio di Italiani in Australia. Io sono Silvia e sono qui ancora con Sara, che era stata ospite la puntata scorsa in cui avevamo fatto un episodio standard del podcast dove avevamo parlato di energy e confidence. Prima che iniziamo ovviamente a spacchettare il tutto, perché non c'è solo Sara in questo caso, abbiamo portato sul nostro tavolo da discussione anche il nostro amico Stefano. Quindi let's switch to English so everyone can understand and everyone can be part of the conversation. Stefano is Italian, of course, but we need obviously to speak English. So how are you guys?
Amazingly well.
Yeah, ready to be part of this big project? Yeah,
let's do it.
So just to give it a bit of context for the people that they didn't listen to our episode last time. So we did talk about confidence and energy and on how confidence can affect the way that a person is perceived, obviously, from the outside world. I think probably Sarah is the best person to just give a bit of a highlights of the previous episodes.
Yeah, so in our last episode we talked mainly around what confidence looks like in a person, whether that's external or internal, and how that translates into the energetic world as well.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then obviously the more that we were talking about this, the more that we were tapping into how confidence can actually translate in dating, in romantic relationship, because at the end of the day we all strive to have that deep and personal connection with someone. So I want to open this episode asking you both, and then I want to explain why Stefano is here with us and why it's important to have his point of view. So I wanted to ask you both, how long would it, if it happened to you in the past, if you've ever been in love, if you were in love in the past, how long did it take to you to actually fall in love with someone?
I think we were talking about that over dinner, weren't we?
Yeah, we did. And the question, the way that you guys were saying it actually sparked something, and I was like, this is a great question. And I'm going to open the episode with that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you want to go first?
I don't know, yeah, sure.
I think you should. You've got a good little story.
Yeah, I do have a few stories. Look, you can fall in love in a couple of hours. And in like over the weekend, you just absolutely in love with the person, and there's this energy between you two, and like you don't even know where's this energy coming from, and like it's just so electric. It's house on fire.
How would you describe? You said electric, on fire. How would you describe it? Like more in detail. Besides, are there any indicators when you get to know the person that you would be like, oh shit, this is actually something?
So I would say for me it would be the heart rate will go up, and I feel it like, oh my god, like I'm just like absolutely thrilled to be here. I'm like, I can't wait to see you again. I'm absolutely like, I'm absolutely just so joyful.
Wouldn't you confuse that with infatuation?
No.
And passion and not love?
I don't think so, because I think they're two very different. They're very different. So it's just, when someone is right for you. You know what? It's just there is something there that you can't even explain.
It's a feeling, isn't it?
It's a feeling. It's in the vibe. It's in the air. And you just want to spend more time with this person, and you don't know even why.
Love is a chemical reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in your brain. Yeah, it's in your brain. What would you say? I just find it very hard to explain what chemical reaction happens in our brain when.
And it's a true response, because it's really hard to verbally articulate how one feels when you feel the feelings that you do when you're in that state. you know, we were talking earlier about, you know, do we believe in love at first sight? Weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we both had that. I don't know about you still, but we both had that reaction of, yeah, we've had that before.
I don't know, like at that crazy level, like no. But what I can tell you is, I can tell you straight away if I can be interested in a person or not. So the first moment that I would see the person, that is actually something, could be anything, like from, I don't know, a smile or whatever thing, that would grab my attention and be like, yes, this person is a yes.
Based on a smile.
Based on something. It could be anything, like a little movement or something, and I could be like, yes. And that's when that maybe that chemical reaction that we were talking about, that would start the process. It did never happen to me, like fall in love within 2 hours and get mental about it. Never. But I do respect that if it happens with someone else.
It's like anything in life. Unless you experience it, you can't really fathom it, I guess.
Yeah.
Until it happens to you, you don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like we all have our own way to sort of live through those experiences, because it could be our culture, could be the way that we are, could be the way that we are raised. And I feel like this is important because in this scenario here that we are talking about confidence and dating, it's really important to explain why Stefano is here and why his perspective can be a little bit different from ours.
Yeah, look, I'm a 32 years old man, gay man, I would say. I was born and raised outside Milan. And look, when I was 19, I decided to come to Australia. Now, the reason why I decided to come to Australia is because I want to find the furthest country away from Italy. And there was either Australia or New Zealand. Okay. The reason being was I was gay, I wasn't out to my parents, and I was basically, I'm like, it was a culture that wouldn't resonate with myself. And I was not stuck, but I was like, I need to find my way into the world.
How did you find it? Obviously, you didn't fit, which is wrong because we all fit. But how did it make you feel to be in a society in which they didn't understand a different way to be? That it was the classic that was imposed by religion or culture or tradition.
Look, a mix of both, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, I have to say, we grew up with stereotypes, stereotypes, the wife and the husband, and for us was a very different. We learned love late in life. I would say you probably grew up with watching TV shows with people that were like straight couple, and you kind of had an idea of what being straight looked like and what being a couple look like. For us would be more difficult. Because obviously, you get to go to the movies with the person you're dating, and your parents will have an old dialogue or old conversation about, how was the date? How did it go? And for us, it's different. Obviously, it was, it's different.
There's almost a cloak of invisibility. Back when you were growing up, and I don't know when you came out. That's your own business, but I know I've got 2 gay brothers, and I love them dearly. But I distinctly remember, decades ago when they were coming out, their experiences in dating were under a cloak of invisibility because it wasn't common. And being European Catholic, that's how we were raised. It's the same issue.
Do you think that it's because we had fear of being judged? You had fear, or whatever, maybe your parents were thinking about you, or because I had a friend at uni that had a similar story, and he was pretending not to be gay. He was from Puglia, and he was not pretending to be gay when he was going back to Puglia to visit his family over holiday time. He was living in Milano with me while we were studying, but he was just pretending. 2 identities almost. Yes, because it was it's just easier to do it this way, because they would never understand, because my mom thinks she would have grandchildren, and I don't want to tell her that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, look, some of the things kind of get lost in translation. as we can say, like some things that's just happen because stereotype, and you kind of fearful of what your parents, what your grandmother, what your sister, what your neighbor, because some people have neighbors on the committee. Like, everyone has a committee in their head. And I had my neighbors as well. What my neighbors, everyone is in my circle was in my committee. What would my neighbor think about it? And at the end of the day, nobody cares. It's like at the end of the day, like who you are.
Yeah, of course. But did you feel like you couldn't be who you actually were?
Yeah, and absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to study in different countries. Like I studied in Brazil, I studied in Portugal, and then I moved to Bologna, and then I came to Australia. So for me, it was always like moving, because for me, moving was my safe place.
You are a bit nomad.
I'm a bit nomad.
You love changing.
Not every gay man needs to move to another country.
Correct, no, it's very true.
And then you landed here, and obviously there are big differences compared to Italy. And do you feel like you can be truly yourself here?
Yes, absolutely.
Without filters.
Yeah, no, there's no filters. I'm like, everyone knows me. Sometimes I overshare.
No, but it's fine. With friends, it's fine. And of course, when it comes to dating, we want to know the juicy details.
Yes, that's it.
We want to spill the tea every time.
That we cannot say because it's censored. It's filtered, all that part. But what are the differences you guys are thinking that there are between same-sex dating and then heterosexual dating?
You want to go first?
Question for me. Well, I mean, I guess we'll share our own experiences, and then we'll understand what the differences are. And I think Stefano, I never thought about it like this, by the way, in terms of for heterosexual dating. It's all around us. We grew up with our parents, generally. They're, back in the day, a woman and a man, and being your mum and dad. And you see your grandparents, and they're generally a man and a woman. And, and all your movies and all your children's books and whatnot, every bit of content around you is a man and a woman. So in that regard, I never really thought about it until recent years that, same-sex dating has become more acceptable in terms of society. That there is more content in books and podcasts and movies with, same-sex persons. So that's an interesting point. So I think that would be one of the stark contrasts, is that, heterosexual dating is a lot more visible, but that's certainly not relevant anymore for modern day dating. I do think, and I can only speak from a place where obviously I'm heterosexual, and having two gay brothers, I know their dating experiences, that I do find there's more expectations around heterosexual dating. There is gender roles that we see. So we still want, traditional people still want gender roles to be played out, where the man is the man and the masculine one and the woman is the feminine one. And those lines are skewed now anyway, with what gender roles look like. Where I find that gay, and I can't talk for gay dating or same-sex dating, but from my friends and my brothers, I find that it can sometimes be a little bit more transactional, a little bit more fleeting, and you're probably not so concerned as much as heteros are around the end goal, which is like marriage and children. But
what would be your end goal in a relationship? Like to find companionship and someone that you could share something a bit more substantial.
It's a tricky question, because I have a lot of companionship. I have a lot of people I can talk to. I can on a very deep and meaningful level. I can be around a lot of people all the time, and I never feel lonely. So I don't know what I'm after in a relationship. What I know is, like, in a gay relationship, I would say it's like, obviously gay relationship that try to break the boundaries, the traditional boundaries with the gay relationship or queer relationship, I should say. They kind of, they're more like, things are a bit more fluid.
Do you think you guys are more direct? You're not getting lost in thoughts?
Yes, absolutely. And also for us, like, sexuality is a big thing. It plays a huge part Whereas in heterosexual relationship, I feel like there's always a bit of more of a shame when sexuality is involved or not.
What do you mean?
Not as pure. Like let's say you go on a first date and you happen to have a sexual encounter on the first date.
I like how you say encounter, just to keep it classy.
I
love that.
Yeah. He's a classic man, now, Stefano.
Politically correct. I love that.
And I went for a sexual encounter on Sunday night. And on Monday, no. Not a true story, guys.
That
was not a true story.
But in a gay relationship, I guess is if you do connect, there's no shame. Like there's no shame in the sexual encounter at the first date. Whereas I feel like it's very different for heterosexual relationship.
See, that's I don't know. It's questionable because sometimes you go out with someone and you just feel like you want to do it, so why not? But I tend to, even though I like the guy, if I actually really like the guy, I wouldn't.
Why is that?
I would park it there.
Is that a personal thing or is that a heterosexual related thing? And that's the question in that.
I don't know, but he just said that they're not following these stereotypes. So what I'm saying is like
because you have some shame around it.
No, it's not shame, but because if you actually like the guy, you don't want to come across as someone that would have sex straight away with a guy. So you sort of wanted to give it the right weight.
Because there is shame around that. That's really, you said like, you don't want to come across someone who has sex with a guy in the first date.
Yeah, because a guy, if he's after a relationship, they wouldn't stick around if
they think you're easy.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, it's easy to go at the pub and pick up a girl, I think.
Yeah, we don't have those barriers in gay relationship. In gay relationship,
no, you don't.
the barriers are down and like, let's also get straight to the point.
Is it almost the opposite whereby if you don't have sex on the first encounter, it's...
the date didn't go well.
The date didn't go well. So for us, it's exactly... maybe that's probably one of the most key differences between hetero and gay dating, if we want to use just slang terms, I tend to agree with you still. I think there's an element of... I think there's also culture, like we're both European cultured. So I think there's an element of that. There's an element of age where, we grew up in the 80s, if I can say that. We won't say what year, but we grew up in the 80s.
90.
That makes me look so old. Like,
yeah, but you look like you were born in the 2000s.
2000 decades ago.
Her whole energy just shifted, did you see that? Her whole energy.
Let's bring it up.
But the point being is that we were raised to be the good girl. We were raised to be the good girl, and the good girl, becomes a virgin until they get married and whatnot. And that's
absolutely utopic. It's not possible. I don't think this is happening.
Yes, but there is still when we're talking about key differences between hetero and same sex, and there is an element of it's the old school. Do you wait 3 days before you sleep with the person and whatnot? And that is a difference where you articulate it perfectly. It's the opposite.
I feel like they decide more based on instinct, I'd say. Like, it's just how you feel like it. How do you feel in that specific moment? And obviously, they don't put a break on it. They would be just like, go with the flow and see how it goes and have fun.
I feel like I will go back to the chemistry of the night. Like, what do you feel? Like, what's the energy on the dinner table when you're sitting opposite and you're like, oh my God, I'm like, it's fantastic. It's electric. And you can't wait.
Yeah.
Do you think that in our heterosexual dating, we sort of tend to interview the other person?
Oh,
absolutely.
We're going for a job interview every time we go out on the date. I've got my CV ready, and in 1992, I worked for this company. I lasted three years, and then I went on to bigger and better things.
This is like, that brought me to think to one. Top of my head, I was just thinking, do you guys have your own list on attributes that the other partner should have? Do you have your own list?
No, I don't. because
you must have some non-negotiables or something to put in there that you'd be like,
well,
well.
Okay, well, there are some things I tremendously enjoy, and I would like the other person to enjoy as much as I do. And if it's not the case, I will always sorry, but we're not a good match. I don't know. It's I just don't have preset standards or but I'm very wary of what I like, and the other person needs to like same things.
Yeah.
Like we need to be on the same page, really.
And that is true, because every time because obviously in my head I have a list. It needs to have this, doesn't need to have that. But at the end of the day, it always ends like that. I like guys that they don't have all that stuff.
You go off your list.
I really go off my list.
Yeah.
Maybe out of 10, they would have probably 1 or 2, but the other 8 is literally complete opposite of what I'm actually putting on that list.
And why do you think that is? What do you put that down to? Because you've got a practical list in front of you, but you've gone for something that is completely off scale.
Because that's probably, if I go for something different, that's what I actually value, which is maybe not the job that the person does, or if the person is not really tall, or if the person doesn't have specific things, or it's not fit, or whatever.
It's sort of like what you think you want versus what actually transpires in the moment. It's completely different. I don't have a list, by the way. I don't.
You don't?
No. Look how surprised you are.
I think every girl should have a list. Even though it's just because you can say at the end, when you find your final partner, that you'll be like, see, I didn't follow it.
I don't think I'd care about that at all. I don't really care about height. I don't care about green eyes, blue eyes. I really there's particular things, I guess. Values are huge. So if we do talk about a list, I don't like the traditional meaning of a list, which is like must earn this much, must look like this. I really don't like the superficial things. But for me, it's more about what kind of person they are. Do they have the same values in terms of families? And we talk about age, but I'm in an age bracket where I'm starting to think about those things. So my list looks more along the lines of value system and alignment in that regard.
Yeah, of course. And I think we would probably do the same thing. Even though if we don't talk about superficial stuff, I just think the person needs to be presented, and then it comes back to outside confidence that we discussed in the last episode. It needs to be presented at a certain level that it's acceptable for us.
Yeah, like Jason Momoa or something like that. George Clooney,
No, George Clooney never told me a story. Really? Never, no.
Really? And you're Italian.
Yeah, but George Clooney is not.
Oh yeah, that's true. Why do I
if he buys a house...
No.
There's a house.
Doesn't matter if he buys a house there. Doesn't entitle him to make it.
It's like you're an honorary Australian. But
No, I've got a passport. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you're still an honorary. You're still not Australian. You're honorary Australian.
No. I'm Australian and Italian, even though I would define myself as Italian.
Yeah. Italian first, Australian second. Where I would say Australian and Maltese. But I believe George Clooney is American first, but he's Italian descent. You guys know this. Come on, please.
Is it?
Where's my phone?
I'm not sure.
Where's this phone of mine? I need to find this phone.
I don't believe that.
Please.
Well. While you are looking for George Clooney, I actually wanted to ask you a question. How do you think... I wanted to talk more about love.
Okay.
Because we talk about attraction and intuition. Is he Italian?
I found George Clooney's Italian house. But I didn't answer whether he's Italian. All right. Is George Clooney Italian? Let's have a look.
Who are you asking? Claude, ChatGPT, Google? Who's your AI assistant here?
Speaks fluent Italian.
That doesn't answer the question.
It doesn't, does it? Oh, this is too.
I think
too convoluted. I'm just going to give this away. There we go. We're just going to put this away for a
because if you say something wrong, I'll blame you on the podcast.
Can you cut this part out?
No, I'm not.
You're doing nothing for my
because
IQ
this is
right
entertaining for whoever is listening.
Oh, I'm going to be crucified for this. Go on.
That's fine. Let's go back to the love piece, because we talked about chemistry and energy and attraction, when you have that thing that it just don't know how to describe it because that it is what that is. But if we talk about love, how do you think love is perceived when it comes to relationships, even in the same-sex dating or heterosexual?
Well, there are different type of love languages. So I guess it depends what sort of love language you are more familiar with. Now, I can't remember the love languages. There are 4 of them.
I know them, but what's yours?
Gifts.
Is that really?
Yes.
So you like to receive gifts?
And to
give gifts.
To give gifts. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because that gifts or that particular things make me think about you in that specific moment. When I was traveling, maybe I was walking down, a road, a street, and and I just...
You tie the person to the gift?
Tie the person to the gift and that's lovely,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way. I always thought about gifts as more materialistic. But when you see it that way, it's like that scarf that someone bought you that every time you wear it, you think of them. Yeah, okay.
It's like having things in your home.
Yeah.
You buy things and then not just to have them, but because each of the things you have in your home, and that I relate to this on a deep level, everything I have in my home, it has to do with like a place I've been or a person I loved or something. So that's my love language.
Yeah, nice.
What's your love language?
Oh, what's yours?
I think mine is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
Receiving and giving?
And also that, I usually giving it's the way that I would express love for someone, like attention or doing little things or baking a cake or whatever. Just something to say, yes, I'm thinking about you and this is what I'm giving to you. Because sometimes I'm not good at words, so it's hard for me to articulate.
Not believe that.
No, relationships, yes. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to say what I think, therefore I sort of convert that in something that would have taken me time to do. And then
it's intentional. It's
intentional because I thought about the person. It's not about the value in that the object has or the cake or the food or the value, the money value that I put in that. It's more about the time that I put to do that specific stuff. For me, I don't know, words of affirmation, because I think, again, based on confidence level are not great when it comes to relationships. So somehow I need to be validated.
And you get that through the spoken word.
I think so. But then again, I feel like it's something that I should have worked through it and find the solution, because probably it's not the best.
Yeah, that's okay. It's what's true for you at the moment.
Yeah.
I've been asked this many times. I've had many conversations around the love languages. And my receiving love language is acts of service. And I guess the context to that is because I'm a hyper-independent person since I was very young. So when someone does something for me, when I allow someone to do something for me, it feels really special. I feel considered, and the person's gone out of their way to do something, and it shows me that they care. So that's my love language. And then giving for me is generally gifts, but I also, quality time is important, because we all lack time. So if we're creating time in our lives for someone, it means that you really love them. So I'd say hybrid of both.
Yeah. And how would you put confidence in all of this?
How would I insert confidence into love?
Yeah, in dating.
Confidence,
because that was what was
that's
all
what we're
about.
meant to be talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Confidence in dating. Okay. It's a broad topic, right? It's a broad topic. I think for a start, you've got to start from the source. Like, where are you dating in the first place? We've got apps. We're out at bars. We're going to single nights and networking events. I mean, they're your traditional sort of dating routes. I think it's about the confidence in how you show up in the world. Like, when you're showing up in the dating world, how are you showing up? What is the confidence that you're bringing to the space? We've all, I don't want to say we've all been on apps, but I've been on an app or two in my dating life.
Can we
all be in this together? Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I mean, but there's nothing to be ashamed about.
No, I'm not
it's
ashamed
unfortunate,
of it.
but that's how it is at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of it. At the end of the day, it's a vehicle. Like, I use it as a vehicle to get to where I'm going, so I'm not concerned about that. But I have had an interesting journey with it where, you know, I started on dating apps quite late. I was 29, 30. I just finished a very long-term relationship, and I had to get out into the world. I felt like I was a newborn for the first time. And getting out into the dating app world and the dating world as such, my confidence levels were low. And I know that's hard to believe now because I'm a very confident woman now. But back when I was 29, 30, I had no idea who I wanted to be in that space and what I was looking for. So very quickly, I had to learn, you know, I was meeting different men and different people, and really, I wasn't very confident. I showed up not knowing what I wanted at all. And so it ended up in a bit of confusion, I guess, until I sort of paused it all and worked out, who am I? How do I show up in this space? What do I want? And then I easily articulated that as to when I was meeting people. And that's the best way, I think. So, yeah.
And for you?
Well, for me, it's interesting because dating app, it's not something I can't say I'm familiar with, but it's not something that I would, in a gay world, I would say, you know, you go out and about and you go to clubs, and how that's also, you know, how I met some of the most important people I have in my life, or, you know, some of the dates I had in my life, quite meaningful as well, through, you know, on a random night out. And I feel like the best way for me, at least, to just meet people and to just, you know, meet people and just also, like, you know, connect. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, clubbing, and you cross eyes, and that's when it all started. And I think it's a wonderful way of connect with people.
And there's also a beautiful authenticity to that. Like, I have to say, like, even though we're talking about apps and whatnot, some of the most beautiful connections I've had in my life have been organic.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I feel like we would really connect with someone, or we would have the lifetime relationship, or a very important relationship, just with someone that we are able to connect with in the real world. But I feel like that's because if you hide behind an app, you would sort of put on a mask, and the people would actually see you through their lens. Therefore, they would create a projection on how you could be, on how you could look like. But then, in reality, you are another person. So we need to consider also that gap. If you meet someone in real life, as you said, at the club, just eyesight or whatever, you are literally already eliminating all that expectation, all that mask, and the person that you meet is the actual person. That's how the person is.
Right.
Because let's be honest, when you're dancing, the last thing you want to do is, like, you don't have your like a face mask on. You just you don't have you have no filters. You're just dancing. You're just there to have fun.
Well, also that lends to the fact that people are feeling your energy.
Yes, absolutely. The energy in the room,
and people are, and I find that a lot, and I know this about you too, because you're quite an energetic person, like a good energy person. You know, when you're on these apps and whatnot, you've got all these filters and masks, and you're allowing people to perceive you the way you want them to perceive you.
Yeah.
When you meet organically in person, people are actually in your energy force field, and they're feeling you. They're seeing you, but they're feeling you. And they're feeling who you are as a person, and that's what they're attracted to. And do you ever have that? Like, I went out a couple of weeks ago, but it's probably not a good story for you, but I went out a couple of weeks ago, and I remember a guy came up and said hi, and we started chatting or whatever.
Strange that someone come to you and just say hi.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often in my world. But it's open energy, actually, is what my friends always say. They say that I've got very open energy. But he ended up saying to me at some stage during a conversation, he was like, you have really beautiful energy. So I can't explain it, but I felt very drawn to you. And so I think that, you know, the energy, as we were talking about on an earlier podcast, energy and confidence goes hand in hand. And people feel it. People feel you before they see you half the time.
So how many times would someone stop you on the street every day? No, because now I'm curious.
There's a running joke in my I'm very embarrassed by this question. There's a running joke in my friendship circle that it's every time I leave the house, but that's not the case.
So did it happen today?
I didn't leave the house today.
What do you mean? You didn't go to work today?
No, I didn't. Actually, no, I lie. I went to go get the coffee in the morning, and yes, someone did stop me outside the coffee. I'm very embarrassed by this question, but
to me, not even at the gym, people that I see every day would say hello. I'm like, I don't give a shit. How bad that is.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know what it is. I can't attest it. It's, I'm not the prettiest girl in the room. I'm not the most attractive girl in the room, nothing like that. So I can't attest it to be that. But I would put it down to energy more than anything else. It's an open energy. People are drawn to you and they can't explain it. And it's the same as sometimes when you're repelled to someone and you can't explain why. You just know that you don't want to be around that person,
And to build this energy, to get people attracted to you,
law of attraction.
Is there any sorcery or some rituals that we can do?
There's a spell that's... Okay, so dear Romeo.
No, I was thinking that you were listening like dog nail.
We need one dog nail, one pig's... No, there's no... I don't think there's a spell.
Like a
I don't think
fig leaf.
there's sorcery. Let's go into your kitchen and get a fig leaf. That's quite funny, actually. I don't think you can put anyone under your spell. It's funny. I get a lot of these. What are they? Advertisements and things like that. Cookies and whatnot on my social media around manifest him in 5 days, and all this.
Like 10 days to be happy, or 10 ways to be happy, or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think that's true. But what I can say is that if you generally, intentionally focus on having and maintaining the highest source of energetic frequency you can, that in itself will absolutely magnetize people into your energetic field that are aligned to you. That's important. I've got a very rule. Actually, I haven't told you this. I've got a very strict rule with myself in terms of dating, which is when I'm going through particular periods in my life that I'm not feeling the best. I've had health issues and things like that, and we've all had periods in our life that we're not doing great. We know when we're operating at our best level and not so. When I'm not so, I intentionally remove myself from any dating possibilities. And the reason being is that I know that I will absolutely attract the frequency that I'm on at the moment. And if I'm on a lower frequency that I would like, then I will not want to attract that. So I will wait until I actively work on increasing that, and then I'll put myself back out into that field.
Yeah, I think you did mention that to me another time that we were chatting. Yeah. I wanted to sort of circle back to something that we discussed before while we were briefing the episode, because obviously it's about self-confidence, it's about how we feel about yourself, therefore what type of person we would attract on the other end. So at one point before over dinner, you said, oh, come on, we just have to be honest. We all know where we stand in terms of numbers.
What number we are.
What numbers
that
we are.
That was a funny conversation.
Yeah, it was. And it's funny, but it made me think at the same time, because sometimes there are people that they would say like, oh no, he's out of my league, she's out of my league. And they think that the person is too much for them. Why do you think these people would have that sort of back thinking?
I think it comes down to their lens of perspective as to who they are, and their lens of perspective as to what the other person perceives themselves to be. You can easily look at someone and say, oh, they're a 10, they're out of my league because I perceive myself to be a 7. Where in fact you might be judging someone based on their aesthetic look, and in fact they might be a terrible person, they might be a 2, if you will. I really hate that. I really hate when people turn around and say, she's out of my league or he's out of my league. I used to do that about 10 years ago when I first re-entered the dating world. I used to think he's out of my league. He's too attractive or sexy or muscular, whatever the case may be, and I thought I didn't live up to those expectations. And I had flipped my mindset, a few years down the track, and I actively worked on myself and my own self-worth. And I flipped that mindset was, no, as long as I know that I'm at my highest level of possibility and value as a woman and a human, then in fact, are they good enough for me? So that was a question I started asking myself. It's not arrogance. It's really just knowing who you are and the confidence in knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. And you just have nothing less than that.
Do you think that this would reconnect back to what we said of the fear of rejection?
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, I would then go down that path and I would say, he's out of my league to justify myself in case I would get rejected. Or I wouldn't even try because I know I'll get rejected because he's out of my league.
I mean, being rejected is also being very vulnerable,
Isn't it?
You put yourself in a situation where, it's kind of, you don't think it's, you're not worth it because that person is like, you're not good enough. But at the end of the day, you're your own bus driver, really.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is just like, move on.
Yeah. Well, also I like that you have to accept the rejection and move on. But in fact, it's actually redirection more than anything else. We often see rejection as, I'm not good enough. But in fact, I always see it as, we're just not in alignment. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with that person.
It might not be the person. Yeah, it might not be the person for you. Whereas if I get rejected, I would put it all on me and be like, okay, you are not pretty enough, you're not good enough because you're not doing these things or you don't have these things and he wants more, therefore you should do more and maybe he will notice you.
Yeah, but then you ask yourself whether you guys were on the same level.
Yeah, true.
Different levels means not comparability. Like you guys are not compatible at all. So
do you think if something that is not working at the beginning, it might find its way through down the path and then it would work?
Depends why it's not working.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not working at the beginning should be the nirvana.
That's it.
It should be, the beginning should, as we talk about electricity and, I think it's a state of nirvana. The beginning should be the chemicals are at an all-time high.
House on fire.
House on fire. Everything's electric. Everything's on fire. Everything's electric.
Butterflies in the stomach.
Everything's burning down, and you're just like dancing through the flames. You're that happy.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah. I remember singing outside my car window. I was singing. What was the song? Oh God, I have to remember the song and tell you guys later on. But it's so funny. I'm like singing. I was so joyous. It was so euphoric. I was singing out the window, and I could feel the love chemical because it's in your brain, right? So that's the beginning. If you're not having a beginning like that, girl,
it's all goes south.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking because I don't know. Relationships can evolve in different ways. So, but I do agree.
But then they can have a plateau effect after years.
Plateau effect,
And I guess a long relationship, like when you're together for 20, 30, 40 years, like surely you're in love with that person, I will assume. But there's a plateau effect where basically, it's just.
I read something recently just on that, whereby a gentleman's married to a woman for like 30, 40 years, and someone said to him, how did you stay in love with your wife for all this time? And he said, I had to continue to learn to love the person that she evolved into in every different season of her life. She was different when I first met her. She was different when she became a mother. She was different when she went into perimenopause and whatnot. And I thought that was quite beautiful, actually. So
it's sort of falling in love again with the same person, but at a different time.
But also choosing that person again and again, because you're not always going to be in love. Like I can't say you're going to be in love with someone for 40 years. You can't say that burning euphoric love for 40 years, right?
You would have probably the first few years, and that's it.
Yeah. If I get the first few years, I'd be happy. At this stage in the dating world, I'd be very happy.
But before we were saying that, especially Stefano is a nomad. He likes
bless him,
change flower and do a lot of stuff. Do you think, if we have to compare dating here and dating in Italy in this case, do you think that there are any differences or pretty much similar?
As I said, I think there are a lot of differences. As I say, I mentioned, clubs are great venues for queer community to meet and start a great relationship. And Sydney is a place where we have constantly events. It doesn't have to be Mardi Gras, doesn't have to be World Pride, it can just be like on a random public holiday, or just every second weekend they have something planned. So that's how we meet. Whereas in Italy it's been more conservative, it's been more just in the closet.
In the closet.
Literally. You are a little bit more in the closet in a way. You are, even in Milan, I haven't seen the event we have here or the venues that we have here to actually meet. And more so if you live in a countryside. In a countryside, everyone knows your business, and as you know, Italy is made of very small town with not many people, and everyone knows your business. You run out of people after a while.
Yeah.
So, but you live in Milano, no?
Yeah, but it's quite different in a way that you don't. I don't think you can compare what it's with the freedom to date here and the kind of restraints that you have and difficulties you have in Italy. You can. I think here is kind of normal. Hold hands. In Italy, even in Milan, which is quite a progressive place, you wouldn't probably do that. I haven't seen many people to hold hands
even now. I feel like in the last few years, no.
I haven't seen that. Every time I go back, I always get surprised of how
regressive.
A little regressive. We are more progressive than we used to be, but obviously still quite progressive.
I feel like we, quotation mark, pay the consequences because we have the Pope.
True.
I feel like, obviously, because we are
heavy Catholic religion.
Yeah. What would be the tips or the suggestion that you would give to someone that is coming here from Italy in this space?
Look, I would say Australia is a place where you can feel completely free. There's no shame. There's no it's just, you can be who you want to be. If you decide to be queer, if you decide to be bisexual, if you decide to be anything you want to be, you can be here. You can be freely with no problem. At least I'm talking about Sydney, the major cities in Australia. But I feel like it's a place where you can really express yourself.
And without being judged, because I feel like, and not just in your community, because I feel like Australia, in every little aspect of our daily life, I feel like we are free to be who we are. It's judgment free. It's, you can do whatever you want. You can say, you can be you can go out in pajama and no one cares. You can go out, I don't know, wearing a specific thing and no one cares. Whereas where we are from, we cannot do that. And I feel like very liberating, we can say that. Is it a word? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
It makes me feel like I'm free, to express whatever I want to express.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I can't attest to having lived in Italy or anything like that, but if you think of some of the other countries in the world where women can't wear what they want, or they've just had voting rights, and not to get political, but if we're talking about dating in particular, can't be holding hands or kissing in public. In some countries, it's it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
So you can be a lot more expressive, I guess, and a lot more free in Australia. I've got a question for you though, if you don't mind, Sil, about gay dating. So I guess the major topic of the podcast is around heterosexual dating and the differences of gay dating or same-sex dating. I find with heterosexual dating, like I would never date a man that has dated one of my friendship circle. And I would expect none of my girlfriends to date an ex of mine, right? Like
I would
it's
never.
a sister code, right?
Totally agree. Yes, 100%.
But I find that the gay world, you all fuck each other. Sorry, but we need a censor on that. But sorry, you all have sexual encounters with each other. Is that more eloquent and classy?
Very professional, thank you.
No,
You
you're
have
right.
intimate relations.
No, you're right. As I mentioned in the past, before, we just, queer relationship are more, we try to break the traditions and we are a bit more fluid. So,
Who cares?
Who cares? Girl, you want to date my friend? Go for it,
What about ex-boyfriend?
Ex-boyfriends can be a bit of a tricky situation.
See?
But depends, even then, not necessarily.
Hashtag
it's not
thinking like a hetero person.
Yeah, well, we would be jealous of all the things, right? There's friendship breakups involved and like...
It's not a red line. No,
Yeah.
it's not a red line, even.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would permit more things.
Yes, we permit a lot of things.
More is acceptable.
Yes.
Do you think that's because it's a smaller community, the gay community? But I mean, it's quite a
Well,
large
I don't
community.
think it's small here.
I don't think it's small, but I think it's smaller than your heterosexual community.
Oh,
Potentially.
Yeah,
Without knowing the
potentially, yeah.
figures and whatnot.
Yes, yeah,
So
obviously.
it's less choice.
Yeah,
right?
less choices. Yes, absolutely. And in fact, if you go on a dating app, you will see the same people all over again because the community is smaller.
That happens in the hetero world too, by the way. I
Not so
saw you
much.
10 years ago. Swipe left and block.
Yeah, in the dating apps.
For you guys, it's 10 years ago. For us, it's like I saw you yesterday.
We need to refresh the app with more
I've been
matches.
changing all my filters, ages, location. Trust me, I see the same people. Sydney's not as big as what we make it out to be, I think. So.
The last thing I also want to say about gay relationship and heterosexual relationship is it's basically the stereotype of a woman and a man, or like wife and husband. And for us, it's like who is the top, who is the bottom,
Yeah.
and like why do I need to give you the specifics? At the end of the day, like we just two people. Like why do we have to tell you, or why do we need to go into details? So it's just a very stereotypical thing to just even ask, like, are you top or bottom? But
Do you mean between the person that you're seeing, or let's say a friend asking?
even within the general public, they would just do the questions, or they assume
They're trying to work out which gender role.
but general public,
assume
no one
who
will
you
come
are.
to you and ask you that.
Oh, I am.
You'll be surprised.
But you're trying to work out, bless, and I understand your point, but do you know, I learnt about tops and bottoms from my inner circle, and it's funnily enough when I meet, and I love a good gay person, but when I meet a gay person, I'm like, oh, so you're top or bottom, and they're like, what? How do you know that? Kind of thing, but I sort of resonate to the fact that traditionally speaking, the bottom's more feminine, the top's more masculine. I know that's not always the case, but then you sort of get an understanding.
It's like you go to and say, hey ma'am, how would you like it?
I know, it's like someone asking
It's
me,
like the same.
do you like this or this?
on your back?
I would be offended.
I would be highly offended. Yes.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Okay.
But it happens a lot.
Note to self for next time. I would. Yeah, I actually would. I'd be highly offended. I would. Well, it's like asking what your favorite position is. Like that's so intimate, right?
Yeah, and you would never ask.
No.
In this specific setting,
Would you ask? So talking heterosexual versus same sex, would you ask your girlfriends though? Like you'd speak about it to your girlfriends, would you not? I speak to my girlfriends about sex.
Yeah, but that's a different topic because I'm talking with friends, so it doesn't matter. We talk about it, that's fine. But if I have to talk to a potential that I probably met on the day, I wouldn't come up with that and say, hey, how do you like it?
But also in the gay community is different because you also want to make sure
You're compatible.
You're
right?
compatible.
Yeah.
In bed
Would
as
you
well.
would you give more importance to compatibility in bed rather than personality?
Yeah.
Okay, you can always improve the bed performance, but you cannot improve a personality. So I would say personality first, and then we can work around the bed situation.
But even though I feel like if the bad situation, it doesn't, I don't know, there's something off. If it happens continuously, I don't think after that the person is right for me. I wouldn't use it as a mirror to judge, like to say, okay, that's how I'm gonna judge someone else, because of course personality, it's and values and everything is important. But I feel like also the sexual component has its own value, and I feel like a relationship needs to be a bit of everything.
It does.
Yeah, it does, but also in our words, if a couple has the preference from the same position, like to top or to bottom, we might have a problem. It's like it's a big problem.
Yeah, one needs to compromise.
One really needs to compromise, and sometimes it's not always easy to compromise. Because maybe that's what you've been doing for forever.
Would you compromise?
No.
What if you are really in love with that guy?
I still wouldn't compromise.
I think you will.
I still wouldn't compromise.
But that's like
I think he would never tell us, but I think he would.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
If you have those electric feelings and the house is burning down and you're dancing through the flames.
Maybe.
I knew. Sex is also an energy, right? If we're talking about energy and confidence and whatnot, sex is an energy. So I had this period in my life, years ago actually, where I abstained from sex, and I was like, no, sex is, I'm giving an energetic part of myself to the other person, and I'm taking on their energy. So when we're having intimate relations, sexual encounters, when we're having intimate encounters, is that what we're going with? When we're having intimate encounters, you're sharing energy, you're bonding, and you're sharing every energy that person's feeling at that time and that you're feeling, you're intermeshing. And so it takes a long time to actually remove that sexual energy. So, and naturally speaking. So yeah, I abstained for quite some time. It was great. I loved it. It's a fantastic time in my life, because you can only take on so much. I know that sounds disgusting, and that's not what I mean by that. I'm not talking about volume. I'm talking about energy. Don't laugh, you two. I can see you both smirking, and that's not what I mean. That came out all the wrong way. I'm going to shut up now. I was literally talking about sexual
energetics. And your personal
energetics.
brand goes straight into the compost
It's gone.
bin right now.
It's gone. I'm like Mary, which one? Virgin Mary. I had to think about which Mary I was then.
But I feel like we could go on hours and hours talking about this. But if I look at the watch, we spoke for over an hour.
Oh, we need to go. We need to go to bed. And not intimate encounters. I'm going to my bed by myself, just so you all know.
It's important to stay.
Yeah, disclaimer on this one, please.
I feel like we should probably need a spin-off episode on this, maybe at another time, because it was really interesting to see the differences between same-sex dating and for us, and see the way that they approach love and relationship and how they feel, the importance that they give to chemistry and that fatal attraction that you would have, whereas we are here like eternal thinkers thinking about the future.
We've got a list, people. What's on your list? I'm joking.
One time I wanted to write it, to have it visualized, and then once I read it after a bit, I'm like, pathetic, like seriously, no, that doesn't work.
That's a whole other episode. We can talk about manifestation and all those things.
Oh, I've got loads of attraction here somewhere.
You do, don't you?
I do, here, there.
You've got, I like this one though, you are a badass. That's the next topic, everyone. You are a badass.
And we are not advertising the book, but this is actually a great book, yes.
Yeah, how to stop doubting your greatness. I like that one.
It's a good book.
Next topic.
Book. That's a great library here. Hey. Okay, so do you feel like what?
So true.
We're all a little bit badass today, aren't we?
No, because I like to put comments on books, and
Okay.
like I have different way to highlight like
Different
colors based on importance. So I would give like a hierarchy on the colors. For example, if I have a full color, it's more important than the pen. And then after the pen, I have the pencil. Okay. And then I have straight line, like the wavy thing. Then I have the
whole system.
I've got a whole system. Yes.
This is like trying to decipher
This is
Einstein.
and study something. Yeah.
There is a whole true story with my notes, because sometimes I write the name of a person next.
Love that.
Next to the topic.
Yes.
So it's like a reference. If I feel like that specific bit resonates with someone that I know.
I love this. This is great. An insight into your mind, Miss Sil.
Yeah. So you are a badass.
Thank you, I know.
Okay, guys. So I think we are at the end of the episode because it's certain time here.
It's 1:30 a.m.
God, I need to wake up in 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
fine.
much.
If you have any other questions on confidence in dating, either for Stefano or for Sarah, write an email at italiani.thepodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, just slide a DM. That's how you guys say.
Slide into our DM.
Slide straight in that inbox on Instagram. You can see it. It's Italiani in Australia podcast with the blue icon. We are the only and original one, so just stay away from whoever is trying to copy us. And on this note, thank you so much, guys, for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Grazie mille.
Prego. Had a great time. I feel like I've learned so much, and I feel like we could have gone until 6 a.m. Keep going.
Definitely.
For sure.
Let's go. Get the vino.
Get the info. I would probably make a tea or something.
Breakfast.
Breakfast, 2 eggs or something. Pre-workout, and we go to the gym all together. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you next time. Okay. Ciao. Ciao.